Okay, I wanted to give you guys kind of an introduction on how to deadlift. I get a lot of questions a lot of times about people being intimidated from the barbell when it's on the floor and picking it up and performing an actual deadlift. So I'm gonna run through a few basics today, make this video really short and very simple. What this video will not be super specific for guys that are power lifters or doing sumo lifting or competing. What I want to just touch on is the conventional deadlift, your feet straight, lifting the bar off the floor, and trying to get into doing that as safely as possible for you guys that might be new to it or just looking for a few coaching cues, okay? The deadlift gets to be scary because, again, the weight is on the floor, there's a barbell, I just don't know kind of how to move with it and everything. So I want to try to break some of those steps down as simple as possible for you. So I got a bar here. You're gonna want full-size plates, okay? I see a lot of people going wrong because they use smaller size plates and it puts the bar too close to the floor. So if you don't have bumpers that are gonna be the full size of a 45-pound plate to get the bar a certain footage off the ground, use some other bumpers or some boxes to get the bar up just a little bit higher for you. But it should be coming right about mid-shin for you. With the conventional deadlift, you want to have a foot stance that's about shoulder width apart, okay? Toes can be pointed forward or slightly pitched out about 10 degrees. For the conventional, you don't really want to pitch the toes out too much further than that, so try to keep them in 0 to 10 degrees toed out, okay? A nice kind of jumping stance is a good position to be in. First thing I see people go wrong is that they're too far away from the bar. You want to really step up nice and close to it. We're here to make sure it's in the camera lens. I'll break it up a little bit, but stand up nice and close. Your shins are almost touching the bar for this, okay? And you'll see people doing a lot of funny different setups, but the couple keys is that you want your back to be flat the entire time, okay? If your spine isn't flat, you're not doing a deadlift anymore, you're just picking something up off the floor. That's not a deadlift. Keep your spine straight through the entirety of the movement, that's key. So when you set up, you can do it from the top down or you can set it from the bottom up, but the key to remember is always get your spine straight before you move, okay? What I always tell clients, patients, is that your hips should release back as you go down and the hips should come forward as you go up on the deadlift. So you'll see is when I set up, my hips are behind the bar, and when I finish, my hips come forward to the bar, okay? That's the key to remember, is that the hips should be back to forward as well as up and down when we're pushing and pulling the barbell, okay? The deadlift is also as much of a push as it is a pull. You'll hear people talking about pulling all the time, and what that ends up doing is predisposing you to use your back a ton. So think more about pressing the floor away, almost like a leg press machine as you would, and that'll help kind of drive with your quads, hamstrings, and glutes a little bit more versus just pulling with your spine a ton, okay? So taking you through the setup, my feet are about shoulder width apart, kind of feels like I'm ready to jump, and the feet are just right up next to the barbell here, okay? What you're gonna do is hinge over at the hip, right here, okay? Do that as far as you can. Let your arms just kind of hang down and hinge at the hip until you feel like you run into some hamstring tension, okay? It's gonna be different for everybody. Some people are gonna be able to touch the barbell, some people are gonna run out of motion right here. But really just drop a pivot point right here at the side of the hip and hinge over as far as you can go, okay? Your hip should be back. From this position, we gotta get down to the barbell, so we wanna kind of bend at the knees from here, okay? That should take you all the way so your hands can grip the bar nicely, okay? My arms are just outside of my knees here, okay? They're not crazy wide, they're not inside doing something weird in here either. They're just gonna rest nicely on the side of my knees, okay? Walk up, hinge over, run out of room, and then I'm just gonna bend my knees until I can grab the barbell, okay? Now this is where it comes important if you have a mirror or you have someone with you to make sure that your spine is actually straight before you go to move that barbell. A lot of people are gonna be rounded here, kind of have this low back rounding, or the upper back's gonna be rounded out. Make sure that that spine is really nice and straight. And I'll come back with another video to give you guys some helpful tips on how to keep that spine straight in that position. But again, hinging over, squatting down, make sure the back is really flat, and then we're gonna push the floor away as we come up, okay? I really want you guys to think about pushing with your legs first, and then pulling them hips through to the barbell, okay? One more time, we're gonna push away, and then pull our hips through, okay? On the way down, the hips are just gonna do the same thing they did on the way up. They're gonna release back first, okay? See, a lot of people trying to set the barbell down and doing this kind of thing, and it ends up going out and around their knees and then comes down and it does some weird things down there. Really just make sure you're releasing them hips back and then setting the barbell down from there, okay? Another helpful tip that'll help you keep that back really, really flat is to try to pull slack out of the barbell, okay? So there's gonna be a little bit of tension, a little bit of slop in the barbell when you go to grab it. When you walk up to that, when you go through that nice setup we just walked through, Try to pull all of that slack out of the bar, right? And what that'll do is really tighten up your back and hold that spine in a nice straight position for you, okay? So I'm gonna put all those 4 cues together for you and see how they work. Hips are gonna go back. I'm gonna do that until I run out of tension. I'm gonna bend my knees from that point and I'm gonna grab the barbell. It should be real close to my shin. I'm gonna take slack out of the bar and make sure my back is really flat, okay? From here, I'm gonna push the floor away and pull my hips through to the bar. The way down is the opposite. I'm gonna release my hips back. As my hips go back, the bar should course my knee, and then I can bend my knees and let the barbell down. Again, this was kind of a basic, some basic fundamentals, some intro to the deadlift. Run through this video a few times. Film yourself, even with some really, really light weights. See how your spine looks from the side. Have a friend or a coach help you out as well. I'm gonna get into some more in-depth videos later on kind of some tips and tricks to fixing kind of some mobility restrictions or some stiff spots you might have. Let me know how this works for you guys and have fun deadlifting.